Welcome. It's another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana. I'm Atmadarshan or Laura, whichever you prefer. It's been such an honor to be with you for these past days. And we're I've been trying to think about how to start today. Since we've been studying the Bhagavad Gita and its fundamental premise of samatvam, equanimity, for a year. I think today can be started with a story. One of you had a lovely question that I read yesterday. And it was, what happens after the Gita ends, since we're in the final chapter? The Gita is part of the Mahabharata, so how long after the Gita does the Mahabharata extend? Well, the Mahabharata spends a lot of time on the war that Arjuna and Krishna are about to fight. And then, after that, Arjuna and his brothers take control of their kingdom. This can symbolize us taking charge of our own destiny, and it follows them, not in as much detail as it follows the war, but until they pass from this plane, this existence, to the next. Let's talk about how this war ends. No. Let's talk about something perhaps more relevant and more important. Right before the war begins, as some of you may know if you've studied the Mahabharata, Arjuna and his brothers were the rightful heirs to a large empire, but they were cheated out of that kingdom. Their empire was usurped. They were sent into exile for 12 years. And when they went into exile, they'd made the condition that in the 13th year, they had to hide, and that the usurper would search for them. It was like a big game of hide and seek. And that the usurper found Arjuna and his brothers in that 13th year, then they couldn't have the kingdom back. But if the usurper couldn't find them in this tremendous game of hide and seek, then they could come back and reclaim what was rightfully theirs. Remember that the usurper Duryodhana represents selfish desire. Arjuna and his brothers represent the 5 core virtues of every human being that help us embrace our destiny. And as a reminder, those include beauty, we're all naturally beautiful; intelligent, we all have natural intelligence; the skill to fulfill our destiny, that's especially what Arjuna represents; love, and truth. Those went into hiding. The number 12 comes up quite a bit in spiritual literature, especially from the East. People being in exile, like Rama in the Ramayana. Here in the West, we go to school for 12 grades, right? First through 12th, and sometimes we go to kindergarten and stuff, but we're in exile for education for 12 years. And after that, and just like that, in the 12 years that they were in exile, the Pandavas, Arjuna and his brothers, learned about the most important things in life. And actually, it was somewhat of a relief because they were not having to attend to their jobs, their duties as rulers of a vast empire. They could focus on spiritual growth. But then before they could come back into the world, they had to hide what they were. So here's this 13th year, very important. Arjuna and his brothers have hidden in a foreign kingdom. Duryodhana, selfishness, and his 99 brothers have searched for them. And they think they may have found them. They had some clues. So they go to this kingdom where Arjuna and his brothers have been hiding. And actually, The fight didn't have really anything to do with them, but they did start a war, a little bad, a small war. And during this war, Arjun and his brothers felt like they should protect the place where they had been hiding, that had treated them well enough that now they were strong and ready to go back and take what was theirs. Well, Duryodhana happened to find them, fought in battle against them, and as the battle was resolved, said, "Ha ha! I have found you. The 13th year isn't up yet because I have found you fighting to protect this kingdom that you stayed in. The empire is mine. You can't come back to it. You agreed. You agreed to these terms. Ha ha." I wish I had a better evil laugh at this point. But anyhow, well, Duryodhana's mistake was he was looking at the calendar, the solar year, and most things, as we know, in the East revolve around the lunar year, at least where Arjun and his brothers were from. And the lunar year is a totally different calculation. And as Duryodhana is dancing around going, the 13th year isn't over, one of his chief advisors says, "I'm sorry, sir, but if you do calculate the lunar year, their hiding ended just a couple days ago. You didn't find them in time. This is the end of you being able to rule." So, my friends, we started Gita Sadhana last year. When I'm recording this, we started it the day after solstice, which, if you're following the calendar year, doesn't come from a while, but guess what? We're following the lunar year, and this is our final day. And I know some of you had asked many times before, when's the last day? When's the last day? And I didn't want to tell you because, and I've been thinking of this the whole year, not saying ahead of time, because we don't know when things are going to end. We like to think we do. Maybe we have a handle on the lunar calendar. Maybe some of you realize that tomorrow is Gita Jayanti. Happy birthday, Bhagavad Gita. And I said I would go from birthday to birthday. We started on the birthday. We're ending today. So this is it. This is the end of our journey with this. Or is it? Because even though it seemed like the end of hiding, the end of exile came for Arjun and his brothers, and that was the end, it wasn't. It was the beginning. It marked the time when they could be genuine again. They could take back exactly what was theirs. They could live as they were meant to live. And so, my friends, now it's time for us to take what we've learned. Don't keep it hidden away. Please use it. Reclaim what is yours. What is your birthright, your destiny? Use it. And remember, there are ways to stay connected. The Gita, I think I've told you, I've read many times, and every time there's something different. So here are some things you can do. If you're like, I don't want this to end. I have mixed feelings about it. I want it to end, but I'll miss this. I've purposely gone back to what I was wearing on the first day. I do notice looking at the video that my hair is longer. You may notice that too. I'm going to keep these videos up for free in perpetuity as long as YouTube lets me. You can start again tomorrow. You can take a day break and come back. Don't take too long a break, though, if you want to keep going, because it'll be easy to fall out of the habit. One thing I am doing, though, in addition to the videos, I told some of you at the celebration, I kept a diary throughout the whole year. And there's a link below if you want to sign up and get bonuses like what was happening behind the scenes, pictures from behind the scenes, or other additional information. Like if you wanted to know more about today's story, I could tell you where to find more about it. And there's a link below for that. It says, do it again with some bonuses. Okay. Also, you can stay in touch if you want to design your own year-long sadhana. why not ask? We can do it together and figure out how you can go through what works for you. And we'll keep having events based on this, actually. I think every year we'll do a celebration, and maybe every season, that first 90 days or so. But get on the newsletter. Email link is below, and you'll keep hearing about that. Okay. The dedication today is to all of you, whether you watched one day or many days. And I hope that whatever comes next for you, it supports you. And you do reach what you're meant to reach in this life. And not only do you reach it, you recognize it that you do, and you embrace it. If I had to summarize my biggest takeaway from this year, it's connection does not have to mean suffering. And thank you, Tejasveen, for asking me about things like that. Connection to you, to the world, to life does not have to mean suffering. If you have a takeaway, I'd love to hear it. Feel free to comment. Oh, and if you do like this and want it to keep growing, please subscribe, like the videos, comment on the videos, share them so that we can continue our cycle. Ending, beginning, same thing. And we're back to being outside. It's only a few degrees difference today than it was when we first started. Let's do our pose. Switch sides. All right, time for our 5-minute contemplation. And today I invite you to think about what other things in your life could end suddenly, like today, and what might you wish you had done before they ended? 5 minutes. As always, I wonder how that went for you. I wonder how this whole sadhana went for you. And this practice is dedicated to you with much gratitude, with gratitude toward Krishna, author of the Bhagavad Gita, Vedavyas, Arjun, to the cosmos that supported me, to my partner who supported me, to my cat who kind of supported me, and again to all of you. Let's not have this be the end, but the beginning of something even greater. I hope I do get to see you again, whether through these videos once more or some other way. Until then, mwah.